Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. I was watching GMA, Good Morning America, and they had some celebrities on or whatever, some other people talking about cyberbullying, and I kind of wanted to tackle this issue again because, you know what, there's certain other things, like I said, that you know certain truths and certain solutions. All of a sudden your view count on your videos is real low, and so you just spread it on other media, and then I tell you in advance, yeah, I don't care if this don't get no views or not. I tell the truth right out there in the world, everywhere I'm at, and people listen, because I think people need to know this. So I don't give a shit if it doesn't get views or not. This is another thing I want to talk about too. One of the solutions, as far as cyberbullying, being able to stand up to it. I think I've seen other documentaries that are a little off the subject of the GMA thing, I think, but I'm going to say in parentheses, talking parentheses for a second. When people are in school, I've seen on the TV news, I think people are in high school and college, especially school, I think it's worse. And also the issues of gang stalking, that people say is a myth. I'm going to throw that in there because they use the internet, because I think gang stalking is most prevalent when you're a young kid and still in school. And before we had cyberbullying, we had a form of, well, we weren't even calling it gang stalking yet. I didn't even discover that gang stalking name, label thing until, I actually discovered the internet later in life. But I say, especially when you're a kid still in school, even before you had internet, it was like a type of gang stalking, okay? You can't even go outside because there's a type of mobbing. If somebody doesn't like you for this or that, or if you're a girl, there's the, throw in the parentheses, the movie Mean Girls, and girls are mean to each other, so you're ugly, you're this and that, and then girls run around crying. But then when the internet come along, it's a cyber gang stalking, and I don't want to say that doing this is the complete solution, because I understand right off the bat, I'm not going to make fun, oh, boo-hoo, they're crying and all that. I'm not going to make I understand, so I'm not going to here to ridicule anybody for, oh, they're crying and everything else over the cyberbullying. And there was thing I seen on articles later on that they actually found certain people that were cyberbullying, and that actually drove people to suicide, and they got charged for it. I'm like, way to go. Yes, they should, if you catch them, they should be brought up on charges. But I believe in certain people should be able to protect themselves, and if there's any way I can help and give advice. I don't want to I don't think the answer is mocking somebody's, oh, boo-hoo, just because I figured out how to get past it. But I notice I don't get that bullshit, because I take pictures of it, and then I do little videos and make fun of it. That's another solution. But talk in parentheses some more too. Talk between the lines and in parentheses. An old book that I think that author ought to update it. It was called The BS Syndrome by Victor Salupo. Go look it up on Amazon. You can get old copies of it. The BS Syndrome by Victor Salupo. And he's the author of that book actually says a couple of good key points, which actually, reason why I think he should update that book if the guy's still around for cyberbullying, because some of the key things he said in that book, when somebody's telling you something. Well, I saw Dr. Phil once, and I think Dr. Phil said a similar thing to this. But yeah, before I even seen Dr. Phil say anything, I guess I saw the author of this, you got to ask the people, okay, you got to notice, how are they telling you this shit? Whatever they're saying, that they're bullying or trying to tell you some bullshit, whether it's bigoted, telling people whatever the hell they're trying to tell you, to maybe they want you to run away crying, and they're hoping you commit suicide, this and that. Yes, people they're doing that on purpose, and if they're doing that on purpose, but all right, how they're telling you this, you got to notice that right there. And why are they telling you this? And what's it lead to? You got to ask yourself, how are they telling you this? Why are they telling you this? And what's it leading to? And I think the hardest thing, when school kids, and a lot of people act like overgrown school kids, but when you try to get intellectual and say, you notice how they're telling you this, and they can gather their mob or whatever, and you ask them, why are you telling this? They just keep making these faces and keep saying repetitively, and so that's hard to deal with too in some cases. And then you notice some days if you can walk away, there's no talking to these people. If you have, if it's anything for internet, that block button, you know what I mean? That magic button to block them, you have more power, than you think, But I'm not judging anybody on TV that were victims of it and they're crying, nothing wrong with it, but it says there's got to be a way to create a realization. That's what these people don't want you to know. They don't want you to come to this realization. And and other things in my own words too, that I heard being asked of other kind of things. Like I just told you, how and why are they telling you this, and what's their motive? And you can also ask them, by what authority? By what authority do you tell me this? That you tell me I'm this, that, and evidently that I am supposed to be running away crying or supposed to get off the internet? By what authority or by what moral platform? You've got to ask them, what moral or political platform are they saying this? By what? Is it some kind of religion? You don't want to blame it on religion right away, but you got to ask them. You got to throw that in there. Do they have a moral platform? Do they have a what's that word I'm looking for? Idealism. Yeah. What idealism? By what idealism? What moral platform? Or is it a religion? Or is it a moral platform? Is it communist? Is it religious? Is it communist? What daddy? By what daddy are they? Whatever daddy they worship? And again, by whose authority? If it's not a preacher, is it some other kind of daddy? Or is it a platform that they? You got to ask them. You can ask them, well, do you have a copy of a manifesto that I could look at? That everything about the way I look is wrong, and everything about is wrong. I made sarcasms like that in certain workplaces I was in. I do certain things, jobs on assignment. I have an agency that's. There's different agencies you can work with. I don't tell you names that, or like Uber without the car. But if you have a car, you can go further out to take these certain jobs. I mean, I have these things where you can do on assignment, right? And it's like Uber, but except Uber has a thing where your car, it's a ride service. But there's other agencies that you can go, labor agencies, everything from, helping in, renovation work, picking up wood, throwing it away, and helping in the cleaning crew of cleaning sports arenas and fields. You know what I mean? So I've been around different kind of people, and industrial places. You get sent to industrial places, they're spiking to work, and they don't want anybody hired straight on. They get spiking to work and use you for so long. But anyway, there's people that look at you some kind of way and have shit to say, different kind of beliefs. Some cliques are the stoners, some of them are the people with beer belly and attitude, telling you this or that, different cliques, you know what I mean? Look at you a certain way and they're making some kind of remarks, like you go through the lunchroom or they're having cliques, and you want to ask them too, sarcastically, wait a minute, do you have a manifesto in which I can look at to see where I'm going wrong? Do you have a manifesto for your moral platform? And what makes what is your moral platform, and why should I be self-conscious of it, as opposed to, say you're in a workplace, right? As that clique that hangs over here, right? You could do that in your school, your college. It says, you ask them for a manifesto sarcastically and say, okay, I ask you for your manifesto, and I should ask that clique down over here their manifesto. And why should I, if you have a manifesto, why should I look at yours as opposed to maybe these down here have a manifesto? Should I listen to theirs or yours? Why should I? And what's in your manifesto, and why should I be obedient to it? And why am I supposed to be walking on eggshells and I tooth and nail trying to, I mean, if I was obedient to your manifesto, every single way I dressed, everywhere I wore my hair, and if I was obedient to whatever your moral platform is, right, do I get to be graced with being in your clique, at least a small level, work my... What are we doing here? Or is it some kind of thing that you're just perpetually a lesser life form and you're nothing? I'm supposed to just die or kill myself? Sarcastic is start. When okay, now I write this, I type this in 3 or 4 page, what I say, and I'll put sarcastic hiss or sarcastic sigh in parentheses when I type this shit. Unlike when I say it on a video, I mean, but this is the stuff you should be asking, you know. This is a sloppy video, but like I said, I'm not ridiculing anybody for going on, oh, boo-hoo, you know. Some people have thicker skin than others. But what I'm trying to explain to you is, too, that this is what people want, and you have to ask these people these questions in your head. And you got to ask them, okay, say I'm this or that, whatever you don't like, okay? Who the hell are you? Yeah, just like I said all these other questions, right? By whose authority, by what moral platform. And one other question I forget too. Okay, who are you? I mean, who are you to tell me? Who do you think you are? Right, somewhere along the line, right, either before or after, you ask them these other questions that I kind of repetitively told you. Who the hell are you? Who the fuck made you God? Who died and made you God? This is the shit that you're supposed to be asking. And this is something that I should have said in the beginning. Yeah, like anybody who wants to say anything right now, come on. Who the fuck died and made you God? And you don't like something about me on here right now? Yeah, I asked people this, you know, right on, you know, I had commenters on YouTube, and I noticed nobody actually does anything messing with me. I think that, so I think too that the way you've been seeing now on the TV news and on articles, that they have algorithms that are actually taking away comments, and good comments and bad, but algorithms are actually taking away the troll comments, I think, too. But then if you think if somebody evidently thinks maybe somebody like me knows it all and knows how people's minds operate, I'm also not going to get any views in a view count, you know what I mean? But it ain't going to stop me from preaching it, you know, so know that right off the bat. But plus, I don't buy all my views on YouTube or on Twitter or anything else, too. People are mainstreaming delusion and mainstreaming. I don't think it's right to try to deliberately hurt people's feelings, but you got to have a way to protect yourself, too, and have some kind of armor, so to speak, you know what I mean? But there's people that don't want you to know these things, you know. I don't want to call it a bunch of drama. I think it's a problem. But they're mainstreaming. Everybody has to be hurting. I made other videos about that too. I think it's still a problem. I'm not going to make fun of anybody that's going to be bullied there or crying, but there's another element apart from the bullies that don't want you to come to any realizations of any kind of things either. Look at television. They want to mainstream victim status in a lot of ways. They don't. They're mainstreaming all kind of. Don't even get me started. I'm pausing because I don't even want to go off the subject, make this a long ass video. This is set for other videos, but they're mainstreaming a lot of delusion and a lot of drama. And okay, what I'm saying is, I definitely ain't making fun of anybody that's crying or bullied like that, because I was trying to indicate too, just when you're in school, right? You're around certain people in school, and say now you've got the internet now. Your home is supposed to be a safe place, and you go on the internet, and then these people know your internet handle and all your social media, and they come there to harass you. And I think and as I say again too, that I'm glad that some of these like cyber bullies, if it drives anybody to suicide, that some of them are getting prosecuted and charged though too. But everything I'm saying applies. You got to say, by what authority are they saying these things, and who the hell died and made them God or whatever too. And at the same time, I think that television is telling us it's supposed to be television is raising awareness for this bullying, right? You shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Okay, nothing wrong with that, but I think some of television, for a common good, and they think it's they think they're doing it for our own good. Yes, don't get me wrong, you got to speak out against that kind of bullying, internet bullying or workplace mobbing or bullying or any kind of harassment, like sexual harassment and lewd comments like that behind somebody's back. It ain't right. But I still think, in a way, TV, a little bit under the guise of raising the awareness. I don't want to tell anybody to not raise the awareness, but I think television is teaching people to be crying all the time too. Some of them are. I think they're teaching everybody to be hurting. And I'm saying that a lot of your mainstream religion and big religion wants you to be hurting, and they speak against self-reliance, and you want to be intellectual and psychologically toughen up a bit. Oh, they're calling that toxic masculinity now. If you want to be a little bit, everybody wants to be empowered and have some self-reliance, but that's all bullshit too, because in a way, financially, there's a part of bullshit to it, because that's for a different video. That kind of empowerment is only their products and services make the world go around. And whether you're a movie star, a sports star, or a worker, or a CEO, as long as anybody's buying the product, you're only empowered in certain levels of middle class. You're only empowered until you end up laid off, or somebody closes whatever company making whatever, manufacturing whatever the hell is being manufactured. You know what I mean? So that's a whole different scope too. But I know that because I was one of the people, that made fun of, they don't like those let your hair, and I was walking around one of the best jobs I ever had, because the products we were making, they sold for like thousands of dollars a set. It's around here, you don't get that all the time, and then eventually, they cut out profit sharing bonuses. But anyway, I was able to walk around with a cocky look on my face, this ponytail people don't like. Eat in a restaurant, whip out money and eat in a restaurant and be happy. But then when you don't have that and you got to live on less, you got to find another way to be empowered. But Yeah, and that doesn't. And now I'm saying that too. It doesn't matter if you're white or black. We all have them problems. And yeah, so even if you're a star and you're making money or you're rising, except some of these people, celebrities, they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But it ain't cool to be saying anything like, threatening people and saying nasty things like that or whatever. You can disagree with a certain type of concept somebody is promoting or whatever, but anyway, there's something about mainstream television that they want to be the nanny and they want everybody to be hurting, right? And it's mainstream religion does it. You're expected to be hurt. What I say, I was getting a little off the subject. What I'm actually trying to say is you're expected to be hurting and you're supposed to be humbled in a mainstream religion, right? Certain groups out there that speak in authority to you, it's okay for them to be strong and smart and intellectual, but you're supposed to be going to the altar crying and feeling guilty for every little aspect of your life is a sin. Your self-reliance is a sin. But there are some things that are sins for a reason, don't get me wrong. But then the secular side of religion, that the more liberal side that hates the conservative of religion, okay? They want you to be humble too. And they want you to be all crying at their altar. And then if you find, like if you're like maybe me or a couple of other people or out there that find a solution to actually fight back and be able to be like this and walk around with a cocky look on your face, right? You're some kind of blasphemer or a sinner, and they'll call you a bunch of other names. You're required to be hurting, and there's a list of so many other groups out there. I notice a lot of people on both sides. You're considered smug and selfish if you find a way to may have comebacks and to snub the remarks and throw it right back at them and flip them off. Walk around with your nose up and cocky look on your face too strong, and you're told that you have an attitude. So there's the big religion side over here, and there's the other side, the big religion side, and then the more liberal side over here. They don't like each other, but they both have their ways where you're required. I can argue that you're actually required in some cases to be hurting. But then, if you want to show somebody some kind of ways, you're trying to share some ideas and give it as a gift to them, and you can be accused of, you're selfish, you're uncompassionate, and you're with some of them other words that they try to tell you of a whole list of things that, you're not allowed to be smart or strong on either side. Well, anyway, what I'm trying to say is if you have any ideas on how to beat the thing, what I'm trying to say is you'll get accused of all the other ones that are crying because they're bullied, and I say nothing wrong with that. You're trying to bring some ideas to the table and share with them, right? And you'll get accused of saying that they'll accuse you of having that attitude, like, well, that you want to just make these people jump off a cliff or something. You know what I mean? You'll get into that argument with the religious person that hails whatever preacher out there, and you'll get accused of worldly wisdom. You're too intelligent. You're supposed to look up to them. Oh, how spiritual you are. Teach me more. And you'll end up finding yourself saying, oh, wait a minute, I have respect for what you're saying. I absolutely agree with what you're saying, but how come every time I keep saying stuff like that, you keep calling it worldly wisdom, huh? You know what I mean? And then you'll be saying this other side that doesn't like the religious conservatives, and you'll be telling some of them, it says, oh, wait a minute, I'm not allowed to be smart and strong, and oh, I don't have no empathy for the people that are bullied, because, oh, like, I'm some kind of know-it-all, I'm not qualified, or some kind of, I'm supposed to have some kind of professional degree or qualification. But then how the fuck did I find out how to beat some of this shit anyway? Like, and again, how did I find out how to not get addicted to any kind of drugs either? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that I wished I could give some of these people that were wronged or bullied. If I can give it to them like a gift, like it's like a thing to give them to that would solve the problem. Wish that I'd have them find out, but I guess the only thing you can do is do your best, right?